nursing. If you have any issues or concerns with anything at all around campus or anything like that, like if you want to know more about the College of Nursing, or if you just have any questions in general about the campus, definitely please come to us. You can get our contact information at the end if you don't have it. But I'd like to start out by saying a huge thank you to everyone who helped publicize the forum and who is here tonight to support us. And I would also like to say thank you to the interim dean, Gail Roop, as well as the panel of nursing staff, which includes advisors Brittany Romine and Donna Stallings. And also, we also have here tonight Dr. Adams, who's from the Center for Student Excellence. So you'll get to learn more about that as well. And we also actually have a nursing student here with us from the Dallas campus. Her name is Natalie Maddow. So she's going to definitely give us her testimony about everything and what it took her to get there. So, and also, now I'd like to start welcome interim dean Dr. Gail Roots to speak to us today.
Welcome. I'm always very delighted to see some bright new faces of students who are eager to enter into our nursing program. I'm only going to give you a really brief introduction because I think you'll really benefit the most from the information from the advisors, Dr. Adams, and the student. At present, I'm serving as the interim dean and kind of being sort of one of the administrators or leaders facilitating the operations of the college. As you're probably well aware, we are a large college of nursing. We're in the top 5 or 6 colleges of nursing for size. Sometimes, so I have to remind myself, bigger is not always better. That we really, because we are big, it's important that you continue to communicate closely with us, to see your advisors very consistently, semester to semester, because I do think that our College of Nursing, it can be easy to get a little bit of lost in the shuffle. So we are a large school that brings a lot of expertise, a lot of richness to our nursing curriculum, but it's important for you as an aspiring nursing student to really keep well connected with us. Of course, we have our centers here in Denton, where you're currently taking your classes. We have our centers in Dallas and Houston, where you would be taking your clinical courses, and that would tell you a lot more about that. If I were you, I would be doing exactly what you're doing, trying to get a lot of information, stay closely connected with our advisors, interface with Dr. Adams at the Center for Student Excellence if you need additional resources, and also trying to stay really healthy. And as nurses, sometimes we're always focusing on the health of others, but it's really important that you also focus on the health of your own system and the health system of your own family. Going to school is stressful. You have a lot of tests, a lot of classes, a lot of pressure to succeed. We want you to succeed. We're here to help you succeed. We want you to be able to use your resources to care for yourself. So again, welcome and thank you for finding out more about our program.
Thank you so much, Dr. Roop. Now I'd like to introduce the nursing advisors, Brittany Romine and Donna Stallings, who speak about the importance of advising appointments, what you can do to improve your chances at success, as well as speak about their upcoming pre-nursing boot camp. And we were also supposed to have Heather Close here with us today. However, she's not, so they're also going to speak for her on the admissions portion of it.
So I just want to talk about our pre-nursing boot camp. We are trying to start this up this semester, but we are going to have an interest meeting if you want to mark your calendars. Right now, it's tentatively scheduled for April 2nd, 5 to 6. Just keep close to watch on our pre-nursing Facebook as well as Twitter. Donna will be posting stuff, and this is for you guys. We want to have you as a student organization. We have to have 10 students to come to these meetings a couple times, and then we can put our paperwork in to be a student organization. That's where we get our funds to take you guys to Dallas and see the campus and have, pizza parties and stuff like this. And this is for you guys to connect with each other as study resources. So please come. We want to help you guys be successful. So just mark your calendars, keep in contact with Facebook, Twitter, and definitely call us if you have any questions. But we will post the information on when and where it's going to be. But right now, so far, April 2nd, hopefully tentatively 5 to 6. So why it's important to schedule an advising appointment. Well, we as advisors help you space out your science courses because those are the really tough courses. So we like you guys to spread them apart. Not taking chemistry and A&P1 together. So we help you, do that. We also we keep you on track on your application when time to apply, as well as maybe doing some summer classes. It's just support just to keep you on track, and if you're applying to any of the nursing schools, we try to talk to you about that as well. So always schedule an appointment early. I know priority registration starts April 1st, but freshmen I think is the 29th. I'm assuming yes, 29th. So you guys want to start making those phone calls soon because we're already getting booked. So just call 940-898-2401. That's our main line. Cheryl will just tell her you want to make an appointment, and she'll put you on our calendars.
Sure. You guys may have already been hearing today, but we do have new admission criteria for the nursing program, which is going to affect probably everyone in this room. It's going into effect with the September 1st deadline. The major changes are the first attempt preferences, which have scared a lot of people away. Those are actually going away. We're no longer going to do the first attempt preferences for A&P, micro, or stats. Now, except that, you still want to try to get those A's because that'll help your overall GPA, which is what is so important for the new criteria. The other change is that on the TEAS test, it used to be you needed a 64% overall score. Well, now you need a 64% on each section of the TEAS in order to be eligible. So those are the two big changes. All of the prerequisite courses, the hours, all of that is still going to remain the same though. And we are in the process of getting all of our handouts and everything updated. So the website is updated, and we're going to get those handouts up there tomorrow at the latest. So just keep checking that. If you have any questions, I think we'll be around later taking analysis stuff.
Thank you so much, ladies. And if you would like to join the pre-nursing boot camp, you can definitely, like I said earlier, come down here and speak to us, and we can get your contact information. Or you can always come to the Senate meetings, and you're more than welcome to tell me there or anything like that, or you can speak to these ladies afterwards. But now I'd like to introduce Dr. Adams from the Center for Student Excellence to tell us what it is and how it will benefit you to go there.
Good afternoon, you all. I'm Joshua Adams. I'm the Executive Director of our Pioneer Center for Student Excellence. How many of you guys, by show of hands, do you guys know what the Center for Student Excellence are? So a couple of you, we're getting the word out. So we are physically located here on the Denton campus on the second floor of the Black TWU Library. So if you get off the elevator on the second floor, look to your right, you're going to see the women's collection. To your left is the Pioneer Center. It's a great new renovated space that I would encourage all of you to not only come and visit just to see it, but then to take advantage of the services located within the center. So some of the things you can do physically within the space. There's collaborative learning environments. So if you are assigned a group project, for example, you can come into the center and there's collaborative technology that you can use with your fellow students to work on group projects. You can study by yourself or with your fellow students. There's dry erase boards, all those kinds of standard things that you would expect from a study room. The embedded technology is really cool. So if you are, for example, if you are in a group of 4, you can each come in and plug in it's called a click share, but it essentially looks like a little hockey puck. You can plug it into your laptop, and once it's plugged in, you hit the top of your click share device, and it'll instantly project it up onto one of our embedded televisions. And you can actually split the screen into quadrants so that all 4 of you can see what each other is working on. So for example, last week we had a group working through a finance class, and they're working with each other, and they pulled up in the bottom right hand of the screen was the live stock ticker. On the bottom left was an Excel spreadsheet where they were dumping the information in. Top left was the actual Word document that they were writing for their paper for their class, and on the top right they had one of their classmates who was actually doing Google searches on some of the companies and businesses, the stocks that they were watching. So that's an example of how you can utilize that technology, and obviously it's applicable to any class you're in. In terms of programming and services that you can take advantage of within the Pioneer Center, we are truly a collaborative environment for all students on all 3 of our campuses. We are coordinating internship opportunities for the entire campus now. I know being pre-nursing can be a little difficult, if not impossible sometimes, to take advantage of internship opportunities. But we're happy if it is something that is crucial for you from your perspective to have take advantage of an internship. Come in and talk with us, and then what we will do is really kind of see what's going on and how we can possibly, if it's not a formalized internship opportunity, because of the demands you all have within your major right now, perhaps doing a job shadowing opportunity or something that's less stringent or less intensive, but will still give you the experience that you want to hear that you're seeking. So in addition to internships, we also have academic coaching programs, and that is exactly what you would think. So if you equate that to athletics coaching, we know that people in Pee Wee soccer and Pee Wee football benefit from having a coach, but so do our Olympic athletes and the folks that are in the NFL right now. And so what a coach is, it's a peer, so it's a fellow undergraduate student, and she or he will meet with you up to 6 times throughout the semester to work on any sort of academically related issues or problems or even successes that you may be having. So as an example of what we're seeing, a student was assigned a 30-page paper in one of their classes. It's due in late April, and the student had no idea where to even begin and was just overwhelmed and knew that they were going to wait until late March to even start on the paper. So they've been meeting with their coach. In the first session, they set goals and set out a timeline for writing that paper and completing that paper. And then in subsequent meetings, they work with the coach to figure out if they met their goal, if they didn't, why they didn't, work on motivation, on procrastination issues, and then have been referred to other resources on our campus that could potentially help. So, for example, librarians that may help with the research portion of the paper, the right site to help with the writing parts of it. So they're really experts not only in helping students get through the semester in terms of goal setting and those types of things, but also in the resources that are available to you as a student. So it's one central hub for you. We also are providing academic skills strategy workshops for students. Right now our schedule is not posted. We're really doing them more on demand, depending on as faculty or as other staff members or other offices are interested in us having these workshops. We're doing them, but beginning in the fall, we will actually have the schedule posted so that you all can just go to our website and find when and where those workshops are going to be. It's on everything from synthesizing information that you may be learning in your class, time management skills, test taking skills, study strategies like note taking and those types of things. So anything that you may need to be successful within your classes. We also are going to be in the near future coordinating academic advising for our campuses. And what that means to you all as a student, you're a little bit different because you all have one centralized advising place, but some of your fellow students who have different majors within College of Arts and Sciences or COPE or even health sciences, their advising situation is slightly different than you all. It's kind of spread out amongst their colleges in different locations. So, but this person will ensure that you know who your advisor is, where to go, how to set up an appointment, and then is also working on the back end to make sure that all of our advisors have the tools that they need to be successful in being involved in those types of things. We are viewing the Pioneer Center as a point of entry for all students, and so what that means to you is that if you have a question about the university and you just don't know where to turn or who to ask, you can call the Pioneer Center or stop by our front desk, and we're either going to be able to answer that question for you, or we're going to get you to the right person on our campus that can answer it for you. We recognize that TWU is a large university, and we have a lot of the resources on our campus, but that sometimes our students just don't know where to go and who to come to. So you can utilize the Pioneer Center as that point of contact, and we'll get you to the right person, the most appropriate person. In general, Pioneer Center is brand new. We started in January. We actually had our grand opening. We had our soft opening from January to last Thursday, and we had our grand opening this past Thursday. So we are a work in progress and under continuous development. So by the time you're back for summer classes or even for fall classes, we will have additional programming and services that are academically related that I hope that you will take advantage of. So that's a little bit about it.
Thank you, Dr. Adams. We really do hope that a lot of the students can go to the Pioneer Center, and you can definitely see an increase in that as well. But now we would like to introduce Natalie Mandel to speak about the nursing school and what she did to get to that point.
Hey y'all, so I'm right now in my second semester of nursing school. I attend the Dallas campus. I did come here for my first 2 years, so I am a traditional TWU student. I'm not one of those transfer students that there are many in Dallas campus. But some of the things that truly helped me in my prerequisites before getting into nursing school was really cracking down on the sciences. I know they always tell you to crack down on them, to not forget about them, don't put them on the back burner, but trust me, they know what they're talking about. Like right now, with stuff that was studied last semester, this semester, I thought I learned a lot in my sciences, and when I'm learning more, I'm like, oh, I definitely didn't know as much as I thought I did, because it's continual. Even when you're taking your psychology classes, or even your nutrition class, you thought that you would never need, I'm going to be honest, I thought I would never need nutrition. I thought as long as you're healthy, you're good. Yeah, no, they still talk about that. They talk about all the different electrolytes, and that is a big part as well. So I understand that a lot of y'all are prereqs or pre-nursing, and the fact that you can study 2 to 3 nights before, you can get your A, you're really happy with life. Try not to do that. I understand that's really, really, really hard, just because you're so busy with life. You're busy being involved in extracurriculars, being 15, 16 hours a semester, still dealing with family, like everything. Time management's huge. Try to figure that out, because I did a lot of the dumping. I'm like I said, I'm gonna be honest, and now it's starting to kick me in the butt, because I really wish that I knew more about nutrition. I knew more about this. Now I'm learning it all, and I'm like, this is actually stuff that's actually really awesome, and I really wish I took that a more positive look at. But it's a lot of fun. I love nursing school. I do. How many of y'all are freshmen? How many of y'all are sophomores? Okay, so it is a mixed class. So for my sophomore people, are y'all coming in the fall, or are you going to be coming in the spring of next year? Spring? Okay, so you still haven't taken your T's yet. Fall, so y'all have taken your T's, and then some of y'all are going to still take your T's. For the ones that still going to take it, me personally, I recommend buying you can go on their website and you can get like online test practices and the book practice. I got the combo. I understand that's a lot of money, but it helped me a ton. I got the grade that I wanted. I was really happy with it. And I know me personally, if I would have gotten that, I wouldn't have been unprepared. I don't know if y'all know a lot about the T's, if it's like SAT, ACT times 10. That's pretty much how it is. Like your prereqs helps you on the way. For your sciences, if you didn't take your prereqs, you would not be prepared for your sciences. But for the book, it helped me a ton. And then the online test, why I recommend that is because your test itself is on the computer. It's not a paper out form, so you need to get used to that version of it testing, because I'm guessing none of y'all's ever taken a test online before. I never did until I took the T's, and I'm like, oh, this is a new thing for me. But really enjoy your first 2 years here. I love TWU Denton. I miss Denton. I love Dallas. I love Dallas. I love the campus. I love the professors. I miss it here. 2 of my best friends still are here. One's graduating this semester and one's graduating next year. Well, she's going into OT school. They're both super excited about life. But I still visit once in a while. I go rock climbing up in the fitness rec center. So I'm one of the students that does both. I love it. I love the professors here. I miss them. But enjoy it. You're going to just take and just be involved. If you like being involved, I'm the person that loves being involved in everything. I have a problem with it because I swear I'm involved in every single thing possible. But I love it. You can do that here so much more than you can in Denton. I'm in Dallas, because once you're in Dallas, the course load, to be honest, is a lot more. You can't study for 2 nights and get your A. You have to study at least a week before, continuously, not just like for 30 minutes. The tests they're not difficult, it's just different. It's not factual. It's not, what's a cell? A, B, C, D. It's put putting 4 different concepts you learned, put it into a question, and you have to, it's a scenario based, and you have to tell them what's going to happen next. It's a different style of learning. They teach you how to learn that way. It's not like they're just going to throw you under the bus and be like, good luck. Like, they don't do that. Professors are wonderful, but it's different. So if you can start preparing yourself now in the way of studying now, it will help you. It's totally doable. Nursing school is not impossible. If it was, there wouldn't be any nurses in the world. Like, it's totally doable. I love what I'm doing. I love nursing school. I love clinicals. I love my professors. And I am a student who is, I am a full-time student. I work in the student life office. I work for the LASSO. I am vice president of organization, and I still do my clinicals. So it's not impossible. It's not for just a student that is just taking classes and like that's all you can do. Like, you can do so much more. Time management is very important. I have 2 planners and a to-do list because I need to make sure I know what to do when stuff is done, due, because without it, I would definitely be missing some things, and I don't want to do that because my grades are very important to me. But it's totally doable. If you're deciding between Dallas and Houston, I can't tell you anything really about Houston, but from what I've heard, Houston's also an amazing school. There is no school that is better than the other. It's just, if you have family in Houston, well, I recommend going to Houston. If you have family in Dallas, go to Dallas. I live 15 minutes away from the Dallas campus, so I live with family because Dallas is very expensive to live at. And probably the same thing with Houston. So if you're trying to figure out which school to go that way, there is no better school. They're both awesome. But I don't know. I'm biased. I always say Dallas just because I want to go there. But my friends that are in Houston, they love it as well. Am I missing anything that y'all want me to talk about? Yes.
What are your study skills? What are your pre-learnings?
Flashcards. I am a flashcard person, and I bet y'all have taken the BARC, because most of y'all are probably already taken Elrod for anatomy physiology, and she harps on the BARC like no other. Totally take the BARC. It will help you 1,000 times, but I'm a read-write, and with some visual. So I read, I rewrite everything, and then my visual is putting pictures on my flashcards. So that's what I do, and it helped me, as well as having a study buddy. Don't have like a study group of 10, because I've tried that, and then we'll just chit-chat for hours and then actually not get anything done. But having 1 or 2 study buddies will actually quiz each other and help each other. So that's what helped me, and it worked really well. And also use your resources here. Use Slurk. Use Right Side. I lived in the Right Side Center when I was taking my English business. I'm not an English person. I'm science brain, so I needed that. And Slurk, I went to them all the time. Use your resources. They're free. Why not use free stuff? Like, you're paying for it anyways. So just use it. Like, trust me. And this cardio practice, I wish I had that when I was here, because I would have told you some too. I'm the person that uses everything. Pay for it, so why not use it? Don't just sit in a corner. Be involved. Be stuck. But, yeah. Anything else? Yes.
Are there any like online resources or like apps or anything that help you study?
I personally didn't use any apps for my first 2 years. Now in nursing school, I have tons of apps because you have to learn a whole bunch of drugs and stuff like that. And once you get into nursing school, you'll be going to this, like you'll go to orientation, and then afterwards you'll be invited to go to this thing called boot camp, and there'll be nursing students talking to you and helping you out, and then they'll give you all those resources. But I personally didn't use any online resources in my first 2 years. I used Slurk and the Right Side, and I never used the math lab, but I used the other 2.
That's a good question though, because regarding the apps, we are trying to continually upgrade our technology integrated with the curriculum. So certainly at the graduate level nursing, we're encouraging the use of apps, and even at the undergraduate level, we're trying to facilitate you using any media that helps you learn. There are a lot of apps, as Natalie said, on the drug, for the drug, pure pharmacology, etc. But any app that you find that you really feel assists you in your learning, keep talking to us, talk to the other students, talk to the faculty. You're certainly encouraged to use any apps that assist you in your learning. the graduate level, we're using a lot of them now to teach. We have a course called Technology and Health Promotion. So we're using the apps with patients that say have diabetes or for weight management or for nutrition, and that will count all their calories, protein, carbohydrates, etc. So we are starting to use the apps a lot more. But for now, as a student trying to succeed and become accepted in the clinical, use the technology to your advantage the way you can.
I did remember a website, Quizlet. Use Quizlet because a lot of your former students that are above you, they put a lot of questions and form flashcards on Quizlet. So it's very similar to what y'all are learning now. That was very useful to me. I forgot about Quizlet.
Yeah, we have, like I said, the Facebook and Twitter, that's how we get communication out. But we also have a pre-nursing Pinterest. And so we have found some study stuff for anatomy and physiology. We did before we pinned it. So everything looked like it would help you guys. So if you want to find our pre-nursing Pinterest, we have that as well.
What's your name? This is awesome.
What's the Facebook, what's the name?
It's TWU, no, it's Texas Women's University Pre-Nursing.
Yes.
Can you talk about your clinical experience, like what you
Okay, so my first semester, so that was last semester, your clinical is related to this class called Concepts, and that is basic form, all the skills that you'll be learning. That is the simplest I can put it. So your first semester, you are in pretty sure it's 6 clinicals, and you're in a clinical group of 10. They put you in this clinical group before you can get to orientation. Like they figure it all out. They base it off your location. So whenever you get accepted, they'll send you this little website to put in where you are. Ta-da, you get a clinical group. I was at Baylor Grapevine, and my clinical instructor, she is the course manager of Concepts. Her name's McMenemy. If you'll ever get her, she's the best instructor in the whole entire world. She just gives you hugs, and she's wonderful, and she gives you candy. If anyone gives me hugs and candy, they're my best friend. But I loved it. Baylor Grapevine is a slower hospital. It's not a Parkland. It's not a children's, but I loved it. It's amazing clinical. I was on the tele floor, which is a lot of cardiac patients as well as a lot of kidney renal patients. And I was busy all the time. There were some students that felt like they were really bored and they just stood there in the corner, but they didn't take initiative. The one time I had a break, I went straight up to the nursing secretary and be like, hey, I have an hour. Do you want me to help the tech take vital signs? So your first semester, you'll be doing a lot of vital signs. You get to give medications, both like vaccinations, by mouth medications, as well as just normal shots, both sub-Q and IM, which y'all don't know what that is. But it's just, you get to do a lot of everything. You can't touch IVs. That is a second semester thing, but I love that you get to really interact with the patients. The patients love student nurses because the student nurses only have one patient, so you get to really help with them, get to really interact with them. And it's just really moving. I had a lot of older patients because it was a cardiac floor, but I loved it because it was just a whole bunch of cute little old ladies that just like to talk about their grandkids and their dogs, and it was just wonderful. But I also got to experience a day in the ICU, and that I discovered because of that I want to be an ICU nurse. I love the idea of knowing every single thing about your patient and just helping them every way you can. But it was an amazing experience. Now this semester I'm in my women's and my adult 1 clinical. So I'm in Parkland. I just experienced my labor delivery last week. So I got to see both a C-section as well as a vaginal birth. So that was an amazing experience. I learned that I'm not going to ever be an LOD nurse, but the experience itself was absolutely amazing. But I just personally cannot wait hours for Mother Nature's call. I like doing stuff all the time. And then the adult clinical, I'm at up in Denton Regional, which y'all probably know where that is because it's just right down the road. And that's also a smaller hospital, so it's slower. But I personally like the slower hospitals in the beginning of my clinicals just because you're still learning. You don't want to be running around everywhere if you're still learning your skills and just knowing the overall idea of what's going on with their systems. But I love it. I'm never bored. But I also take initiative. Whenever I see medications, I jump jump on it and be like, hey, can I please observe you? And usually start asking questions. Usually they're like, hey, do you want to give this medication? I'm like, yes, please. And then I call my clinical instructor. Because your first semester you have to have your instructor with you. Second semester you just need to have a nurse. But you perform a lot of skills and you're never really bored. Just take initiative. Don't just stand there in the corner feeling really scared, because if you are, then you'll never learn anything. In the end, when you graduate, you won't actually, if you've never tried, then you'll actually never be able to perform the skills that you need to. Yes?
How long is your clinical day?
Last semester it was from 6:30 to 12:30. This semester, my women's is from 6:30 to 6:30. It's a 12-hour clinical, and my dole it is 6:30 to 2:30. But the reason why women's is 12 hours is because number one, you're waiting for a mother to give birth, so it's not just up in an hour thing. And number two, when you become a nurse, your clinicals are 12 hours long. Like that's how long the 2-day shift is. So they want you to start getting ready for the idea of you will be on your feet for 12 hours.
What's your experience with the nurses that you share?
My nurses are awesome. I never had a bad nurse. There are some students that had bad nurses. They're not perfect nurses in the whole entire world, because there are some nurses that get like flustered with the nursing student just because the nurse student asks lots of questions because they want to learn and they just can't handle it. I personally, I learned really quickly who were not as good nurses on the floor, and I just kind of made sure I didn't make sure I had that nurse. I just made sure that I wanted a good nurse that helped. So my nurses have been amazing. They, from the beginning, like I asked her a lot of questions. You can tell she really trusted me, and so she let me perform a lot more skills on her patient. So in the end, it is her patient, so she has to give you your trust. But I loved it. My nurses taught me so much, and I wouldn't have learned as much just by standing there and staying silent.
Do any of you have aspirations to attend in Houston?
I'm thinking about it, because I'm from Houston.
Right. I'm just really quickly address a little bit of the clinical atmosphere in Houston. And Natalie said she has enjoyed the variety of clinical experiences that she's had in Dallas. But remember that in Houston, you have the same parallel. That the Houston building is just surrounded by what we call the TMC, which is called the Texas Medical Center Zone. So you again have opportunities to go to nationally ranked facilities such as the MD Anderson Cancer Center, which is one of the leading cancer centers in the United States. We have St. Luke, the whole St. Luke system, the Methodist system, the Memorial Hermann Hospital system, which is kind of equivalent to Parkland. So really, as Nellie's emphasized, some of the accountability for your experiences are up to you, but you really have to make the most of it. Certainly, we share accountability with the faculty, with the nurses that you're shadowing, but you are fortunate and blessed, and that's why we have the two centers in Dallas and in Houston, because you do get some very diverse, nationally ranked clinical experiences. There's probably only cities like Chicago, Los Angeles, New York, Dallas, Houston, where you're going to have such a variety of nationally ranked facilities. So that's really to your advantage.
Any other questions?
Okay. Do you have questions you want to ask Brittany or Donna about the admission, the admission selection criteria?
Why did you choose to get rid of your preference classes?
Well, and kind of the short answer is that I've heard a lot of good students who, could do the work and would be successful in nursing program, but just because they didn't get the A's the first time, it pretty much guaranteed that they would not get in. So we really just wanted to open it up to good students. Now, like I said, when we take away those preferences, GPA is going to be so important. So you still want to make those good grades and still shoot for those A's. So that short answer, I don't really want to talk more about it.
No, I think that's it. I want to emphasize to you this. Probably the two most important take-home messages are the university, like Dr. Adams and the Students of Excellence, as well as the College of Nursing, wants you to succeed. So it's not as if we want want to set you up for quote failure. But we do also understand it's a competitive process, and I would encourage you to do all of your strategies to succeed, but also maybe keep a little bit of an idea. If you aren't accepted in nursing, what would you do then? Do you want to try to apply to the College of Professional Education, early childhood development, general studies, etc.? We really would like to retain our students to graduation, so that it's most important that you have a degree that's marketable, for the workforce. Does that make sense? We have studied the admission process data. So it's never going to be a perfect system, but we did try to make the system more fair for our own TWU students, more liberal as far as taking just a few criteria and make sure that we cross-reference that in all the students as far as the GPA, the sciences, etc., the T's. What do you think about it?
I already applied, so I hope to start in the fall. So I just think like I don't I see it as fair, but at the same time like not really, because like getting those A's was really hard.
It is hard. Nursing college is very difficult, but there's other programs that are difficult also. The other schools, the other students, I'm sure they would also say that they have to study hard. But nursing is a very difficult science. It's very competitive to be admitted. But it's also a profession that we hold a great deal of responsibility for the care of the public. The famous saying that always reminds us is that there's only two disciplines that are regulated as much as nursing is. And it's nursing and the airline industry. Well, the reason that we're so heavily regulated is because we are accountable for the welfare of the public. So, as Natalie said, with the nutrition and pharmacology and the drug dosages and things, it's important that you enjoy your career, but at the same time that you have to accept accountability for it, because it's not easy working with patients and with clients who are ill, or clients just been told that their family member has cancer. I've always found the nursing career very, very rewarding, but it's never gotten easy. I still practice on Friday mornings, and I gotta keep that practice to keep myself grounded. Some of the things get a little easier because I've done them, over the years, the same dosages, etc. But what you do is
But it's totally worth it.
you're right, it's very rewarding.
Okay, say a student has a C in AP and wants to take it again, it's a A in it. What grade would you take?
We will take the most recent grade, whether it's higher or lower, so just keep that in mind.
That's a good question also. And also refer to your website, because we could post it on the web. And really, they are not radical changes, but they were changes that were modest, that we would hope to have a kind of a fair system, a more logical system for the students.
Is there a reason why you guys do not do the SE? Why is it T?
There is a reason, but I would probably not rather, I would kind of rather not share it too much in a public forum, but there were things that we were just generally, it's good, I think, to say that there were things about that testing system we were we're not as satisfied with. And again, here's a perfect example that a university and admission processes are complex systems. The hospital, a university, the testing. Now, Diana is going to have some testing centers to help the students succeed in their test-taking skills. But overall, there are a few things about this exam that we weren't satisfied with.
my question. I was asking because if we're thinking about applying to other schools, then
Right.
we're gonna have to take 2 tests.
Correct. And that does bring up the question about applying in other schools. You wanna answer that, Brittany?
Yeah, some students, I mean, we have a lot of students that take both exams. I mean, we do see a number of those. But some students, if they don't mind moving, they will look at other schools and they will just apply to places to take the T's because it is, it's money and they'll submit it to every school. They'll make sure they meet their prerequisites at other schools because other schools require maybe a sociology or something. And then they can just apply to the ones that take the T's. So we have students that, apply to both and take both exams, or some students that just take the T's and apply to those schools and take the T's. So it's just up to you, if you don't mind.
My question is for Amanda. You said that the way that you study now, you have to change from the way you studied when you took your class.
Yes.
How was that transition or change your study style?
It was a wake-up call for my first exam, or first round exams. When I was a sophomore, I had many acquaintances that got into nursing school, so they were a junior while I was a sophomore. And they'd always tell me that it was different, that you have to study a lot more in nursing school, but I thought that what most people think when they get into nursing school, that they're the exception to the rules. So when I was a freshman, sophomore, I would study probably 3 to 4 days before an exam, depending on the class. But like some classes I would study more. Like micro, I definitely would study about a week before because micro is just so intense. Then there's other classes like my math class because I love math so much that I wouldn't have to study that much and I would get the grade that I would want. But I just wouldn't study as much because I felt from deciphering between my prereqs and now is that my prereqs are more factual based. So it's more memorization and just regurgitating it onto that paper. Now in nursing school, like I said, it's more scenario and application. So just because you've memorized your PowerPoint doesn't mean you actually know it. So I'd have to study about a week before, like truly studying, like I'd want to go over my notes. Like every time we had a lecture, I'd want to go over it that night to make sure that what I learned was in my brain. Then I would study for about a week before, truly studying. And then after I knew my material, I would start doing a lot of practice questions. There's a lot of software that you can get or just books that you can buy to do practice questions, and I would do that. So I didn't do practice questions really until I took PAPDO, because I took PAPDO as a sophomore, and I totally recommend doing that if you have the opportunity to do so. But it's more factual pre-nursing. Once you're in nursing school, it's just so much more application that you need to really start thinking like a nurse, because that's what all the questions are. It's, you are a nurse, what would you do? And you don't do that by just knowing the facts. You have to know how to apply it. Hopefully I answered your question.
Yeah,
And an easy way to get at what she's talking about, essentially she's talking about synthesizing information. So taking a whole bunch of facts, putting them together, and then being able to talk about it. And so an easy way, that there's a lot of research behind it that shows that it works, and it's so simple, and it's one of the cool stuff, is once you learn your facts, start having conversations about those facts with either your friends, your family members, all of those types of things. And then once you can start articulating and speaking in just normal tones, if you will, about what you're learning, then you've synthesized the information. And from my perspective, I'm not a nurse, but I would imagine that's also helping you with what you're going to be doing for the rest of your career. Because I experience well as a patient. And I expect the nurse to not only just tell me how much of this medication they're giving me, but why they're giving it to me, what it's going to do to the inside of my body, the fact that it's going to make me feel like I'm going to throw up, but only for 2 minutes, and that it's transient, it'll go away, all of those kinds of pieces. So literally just having that, learning to have that conversation and talking about what you're studying is a simple and easy way of doing it. If you're alone, stand in front of the mirror and have the conversation with yourself, and that tends to help as well.
And you'll start doing that on your own. I'll start talking about the stuff that I'm learning in my car, and I'm pretty sure everybody thinks I'm a crazy person, but it works for me, so.
Was there a class that wasn't a prerequisite that has helped you choose nursing school?
Me personally, I have a global studies minor, I took a lot of those type of classes, and that has helped me just in the fact of being a nurse. You also have to be culturally aware, culturally competent. So the classes that I took really helped me with that. Now, I don't recommend, like, if you can, totally get a minor, but most people can't get a minor just because you're so bogged down with all the classes you have to take. But that helped me in the fact that, like, when they start talking about these different cultures and what you have to, like, what you can expect whenever you're working with a patient from that culture, I had an idea about that prior to learning with it. So that personally helped me. Now, a lot of people took that I totally wish I took was just medical terminology. I never took that class. I totally wish that I did. I just didn't have time for it. As well as Spanish. It really doesn't really help you in your classes, but the moment you get to Parkland, you really wish you learned that you knew Spanish. I know a little bit of Spanish just because of home, because my mom speaks it. But for most people, like, the patient will start talking Spanish too, and you have no idea what they're saying. So you can take some of those little extra classes if you have time as well as money. So I recommend it. I would number one recommend medical terminology because they'll start saying things to you. You have no idea what you're talking about when you get into nursing school. They'll explain it to you, but you wish you knew prior. And then from there, I guess Spanish. But that's just me personally.
I mean, if you just speak another language, that's great. You know, find that is also very, welcomed by the patients and their families that someone that can speak their native language. We're also going to find if you would like to go to Houston or live to Houston, Houston is also a very, very diverse community with, multiple different languages spoken. Houston is actually one of the most diverse cities in the United States.
Knowing what you know now in the program, besides our classes, is there anything that you wish you would have did prior to getting into the program?
That's a good one. Mostly studying more, getting used to the idea. I know a lot of people, I personally didn't have this feeling because I was so involved my first 2 years. But once you're in nursing school, it's very difficult to get involved because you feel like you should study all the time. So if you're not really involved now, but feel like, oh, once I'm in nursing school, I can be involved, I recommend doing that now. Have your college fun now, like just go into the block party when they have that beginning of the school year. Go to midnight breakfast. Just doing that kind of stuff. Because I know that's not really, I don't know if that's what you're asking, but I know a lot of students, they kind of regret that. Because they didn't do that just because they were studying so much for pre-nursing that they thought they could do that with their nursing school and it really hasn't worked for them. So just love Denton. Just love everything about it. Love TWU Denton. Love your professors. Take the advantages. Now, academics wise, my main thing was just studying. I really wish I prepared myself more for studying a week, 2 weeks prior to an exam. But I personally didn't do that, and like I've learned now to do that, and I've been doing that, but it took a while to get to that point. And it's been taking me a while to get to the grades that I want, because nursing school, my grades definitely weren't as well, or I didn't do as well as I could in my pre-nursing credits, just because, like I said, the questions are different, so I had to learn how to work with that. So by studying more, I've learned that my grades have gotten better, but it's been studying a couple of weeks prior. It is not just 4 days. Yes.
Is the grading system different from nursing school compared to undergrad?
If you get less than a 72, you fail the course. You can't get a D in nursing school. Yeah, D's are just not taken. It's 72 or higher. So it's like A, B, like that's all normal. But C, the lowest is 72. The clinicals and labs are pass-fail, and they go with your class. So every clinical is connected to a class itself. So if you don't go to clinical, well, you fail the clinical, so that means you fail that course. It's not separated, they're together. So in that sense, that's a bit different, because I'm guessing you're used to anatomy, lab, and lecture, that they're 2 separate things. And nursing school is 1. So you have that as well. But the actual grading itself, it's A, B, C, D, it's normal, old, A, so that's all the same. But hopefully I answered your question. Yeah. Anything else?